Everybody, welcome back to the Quantum Show. It has been a heck of a day. Welcome everyone in the chat room. Everyone is filing in, y'all. This is going to be a hot one. This is I'm wound up about it. I've been thinking about this for 2 days. Actually, I've been thinking about this for a while. Got a Tim. Hey, Nightmare. Good to see you back. Sarah. Lynn is here. Who else we got? I saw Aussie Tiger. What's up, Aussie? Renee Andrews. What's up, Renee? And shout out OB2 Rachel. Last week bought us coffees. I was like, I didn't see it. I would have shouted you out. Hey, Operation Shutdown. Welcome back. And Joe Stewart. Sorry, the thing is scrolling. That's awesome. Okay. Now, I got Storm on the other line helping me manage this stuff because I have a slow connection. So go ahead now, bring it up and hit play. Let's just review this for a minute. Yeah. I am talking about what Amy talked about this morning. I have permission to use her stuff. Chris O'Leary.
Good morning, UFO. Thank you so much. We have this impromptu show. I'm super excited. I made a friend, Chris O'Leary. He's down backstage, and he is an alien abductee. Good morning, Paul Shields. We have an alien abductee. We're so excited. Met him on Spaces.
Please be patient with
it's
this.
Not every day that we get people on
up.
Spaces.
Amy's awesome.
They're legit or true or real, but we have Chris here, and I heard Chris on a Spaces, and there were just so many things coming into alignment. As many of you know, we're really looking for the truth here. So I'm going to bring in Chris O'Leary. Good morning, Chris. Thank you so much for joining me on Good Morning UFO. We are live. We weren't going to do live, but then you decided to come in the morning, which makes you part of the cool crowd, by the way. Not everyone's part of the cool crowd.
Very true. Very
true. You're really on in terms of cool people in ufology, you've already gone straight to the roof, in my opinion, because you managed to do my show in the morning and you were cool to go live.
If that's the criteria to be cool, I would have done it a long time ago. So
especially experiencers. A lot of experiencers don't want to go live. It's which is
know
great
what?
because that means
I just want to interrupt.
Yes, please. It's your show today.
The whole show.
Yes.
I hate the term experiencers, and I hate the term abductee. They are insulting. Now, an experiencer.
Chris. I'm sorry.
What else are you going to call somebody? What else are you going to say?
I don't know.
Experiencer sounds like I do a lot of skiing and travel and skydiving. He's a real experiencer.
This is Amy's show.
It just sounds so lame. You know what I mean? It just sounds so helplessly victimish, which you are, but it's just abductee. It's not a group you want to be in. It's but I don't know what else you call it. I've thought about it. I think the closest I could, the term I would use that's closest to the truth, involuntary coworker. That's what you are. That's what you are.
Involuntary coworker.
Yeah,
that sounds legit.
Because that's what they, you go to work. They don't just take you and sit you down and listen to your stories. They don't care what you have to say any more than you care what your golden retriever's thinking about. No. They put you to work doing things and being used in different ways. And by the way, another thing that bothers me is this whole anal probe nonsense. It comes from Whitley Strieber. Okay.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yes, it does. And it was not far from here where he had his experiences.
Huh.
Yeah, it was right near here. And,
Okay. Let me go ahead and just do this. Now, I'm pretty sure this guy had an experience, right? Now, I tend to talk with my hands in the video. Apparently, he talks with his head. You see that? Now, I'm sure he's a nice guy, artist, author. It will be shown. And I'm not really so sure about this guy's perspective, though, because I'm with R. Keith. I'm with Keith on there are a lot of different guys out there doing a lot of different stuff with humans. And you'll see what he says, right? You're gonna hear him say all of what he says. Just be patient. He's a very good orator, okay? Better than me, because I went after listening to this, I went and I reviewed my own show, and it's been 7 months that I talked about my untold story. It wasn't exactly an abduction story, it was a visitation and the hybrid program story. I don't get the same things from my experience than he got from his experience. So go ahead and hit play.
My mother was taken in 1959. Okay.
Right.
Hudson Valley is a big area. I was taken in 1966. Whitley Strieber was taken sometime in the 70s. Same with Travis Walton. Listen, I am old school. I am if you talk to somebody who goes back further than me, who hasn't spoken out loud before, then they either don't remember or they don't want to talk about it. So I'll go back. I'm not faking it. So
I know, that's why I was excited to have you on. I feel like I can tell the fakers. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Just kidding, everybody in the chat.
No,
but
one way to tell somebody's faking is if they know the aliens' names and where they come from, the name of their species, their race. We are the Kundalorians.
Yeah.
He's lying.
Yes, dude, you were slicing through the BS right now. I really, yeah, this is great. No, let him go. Tell me more. Just keep going, dude. Let it out. At least everybody wants to hear it in the chat. Everybody's here to support you. They're going to be rolling in here very soon because we don't get very many genuine involuntary coworkers.
Yeah, right.
I try to be PC, dude. Here's the thing. We had, I don't know if you're, because I know you're like jumping on Twitter and you were like, this is kind of a new thing, but we had Angelique. She's talking to the aliens. She's a friend of the show. We like her. She telepathically communicates with the aliens all the time. And Chris, the response is great because you're an abductee. I'm sorry. This is a fun energy. But anyway, so basically the aliens don't like being called aliens. It's kind of racist. That's what she told us.
Oh, okay. Wow.
She knows it's like a joke between everybody. Like everybody's cool, no one's mad at each other. But she did tell us the aliens don't like being called aliens because it's kind of like racist to the aliens.
Oh, yeah, they're going to get deported if our new fearless
Pause it.
moron traitor.
Pause it. Yeah, he goes into a little rant right here. So could you skip ahead about 3 minutes, please? Everybody just coming in. Storm is helping me from the other side. Yeah, thanks. He's helping me from the other I hope everybody saw this earlier. He's helping me from the other side of the screen across the country, right? Because our technology can do that. At least his technology can. Okay, go ahead and hit play.
During the 70s, my grandparents would always say, your mother said that she was taken by a big triangle that was floating above her. The craziest thing, huh? Well, she didn't come back for hours, and we were about to go looking for her. She comes in, and that was her story. She stuck with it her whole childhood. It's crazy, huh? Yeah. Well, my mother was walking their dog in the middle of the afternoon, a block from her house, and a huge shadow came over her. Huge triangular shadow. And she looked up and she said, there was this gray, like pencil lead gray triangle craft, and it had some hatches on it. It was just she didn't say craft, this big triangle, and it was floating there and this just above me. Didn't hear an engine or feeling exhausted. And I noticed in the center of it, there was a hatch that was open. And then, I don't know, it was dark and I walked home. I don't remember anything else. So that was 1959, which predates Betty and Barney Hill by a couple of years. So they weren't the first. They were just the first to make it into the press about it, or the first to report it. And so then they started taking me in 1966. 1968, they started taking me alone. Right between, it was May of 68. I can
pause it.
Pinpoint.
All right. Right here, he says they start taking me. And that is one part of the program that is involving Earth. He says that he is part of the hybrid program, but he thinks that's the only program. That is not the only program. That is what he can see. Listen up, people. He's one person. He can't see the entire picture. No one person can. And he is talking about, well, right at this very moment, he's talking about his introduction into these programs. And, well, let's let him say it. Go ahead. Press play.
The time by where we were living. And so that falls, it was a month after Martin Luther King was shot down. And it was a month before Bobby Kennedy was killed. And that was a big thing in my family. My family loved the Kennedys, as all young, bright people did. And they were crushed when John Kennedy was killed. And my dad volunteered. He campaigned as a volunteer on Bobby Kennedy's senatorial campaign in 1966 because he was our senator. That was going to be his stepping stone. And then he ran for president in 68. So that's when it was. That's how far I go back. When they took me alone, I was, not a big fan. You know what? There's a point I have to make here. And if it's, jumping to the ending, we've got some listeners. And I don't know what you people think these aliens are, or what they're doing, or what their objective is, or what their end game is. I hear people all the time. One, first of all, 40% of people think that it's a psyop, that the government has their act together so well that they're faking this alien abduction.
Okay, pause it, please. About the psyop. There is a psyop going on, and it's worked into it because we got a lot of humans that want to make the best of the situation. There is a hybrid program. He's a tiny, tiny part of it because I was part of it. I'm going to go over that too. And okay, he's talking about the psyop part. There is a psyop going on, and it's generally, there's no one answer to it. There's like, oh, the psyop is one sentence, so this is what it is. No, it's a psyop. It's deep, it's multi-layer, multi-level, lots of people involved, and everybody's doing something different. That is a psyop. One person isn't controlling it. One person is riding the wave of things that happen along the way during a psyop. You do the main guy, and any one main guy starts something, and then it butterflies out to 2 or 3 different sections, and each section has a main guy. So when you get those guys doing something, you're going to have more guys butterflying out from them, more sections butterflying out from them doing other stuff. He knows one dude, one of these alien people. He knows one of them, one part of it. One human cannot know all this stuff. He's talking about the psyop. And yeah, there is a psyop going on. They're working not exactly with us, but they're working not exactly against us either. Okay, right. They have multiple campaigns. Hey, Amy, I knew you were going to be here. I knew you were going to be here. Welcome, Amy, Alien Girl 111. Good morning, UFO. Cup is on point, let me tell you. And we're covering this morning. I told you in Twitter, oh my God, I told you in X.com that I disagree with a lot of what this guy says, and I'm just playing it. Okay. I didn't cherry pick it. I was gone all night. And I am going to go over it, and we're just going to play it, pause it, comment, and keep going. Thank you for the permission, for giving me permission to use your stuff, because this is related content, and I am doing, I don't know what even the phrase is, for education and entertainment purposes, whatever. Aliens. Okay. So yeah, no problem. And I have shared your video. I didn't share this one, but I shared yours. Too easy, Amy, too easy. Okay. So he just talked about the PSYOP. No, the government isn't running all of it. They're running what they can see, what they can reach, right? Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Good Morning UFO. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. I have to take a screenshot of that, because if there's any question, YouTube says I need written permission. Well, here it is. And there. I have just saved it, and it's in your file. It's in my file. It's in my file. So let me actually save that right now, because for real, it's just, if YouTube has a problem, I know you don't have a problem with it, but YouTube might. Okay. All right. And if they come to me and say, hey, we're gonna demonetize your demonetized show, where's your written permission? Now I have it. Written permission. So, okay. And you gave it to me here. Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Okay, go ahead, hit play, please.
The government took control the minute you all logged onto cell phones. Okay, you're under control. They know where you are, what you do, and who you talk to.
Not exactly control. Observation.
The TV is listening to you, so they don't need to fake this. It's absurd. Okay, that's childish thinking. And a lot of people think they're here to give us free energy and make us lunch and save the oceans and bring back the dodo. That they're these saviors. A lot of people think they're going to raise us to like another level of vibrational existence, because the sun is going to phase into something new, and they're going to raise us all up, and we're going to be a brotherhood. It's going to be so great. They're fools. Every one of those people is wrong, and they're lying.
Please. Okay. What he's talking about is the people who say, and I'm not one of those people. I know they're not going to do that. We got to do that. They're not going to raise us up. What did he say? Make us sandwiches? Oh my, no. That was never part of it. Take us to see the ocean? No, that was also never part of it. That's all up to us. He is seeing a tiny piece of the whole thing. What is it? Exposition? There's a whole big lot of programs going on. And Tim said it earlier. Let me see. People tend, right. They are cellular. Like, well, I wouldn't put it like that particularly, but they do have multiple campaigns, and they're not all being run by one group or one person. And that this guy is okay. I do not doubt his experience. All right. I do not doubt his experience. I do doubt his perspective, because there's much more going on than he knows. So it just right. And no free lunch. And that's not what we're expecting down here. Based on observation of everyone's stories and also my own, which I'm going to be going over. Okay. I've done it before, the untold story, but I disagree that he knows everything that's going on. He's a human. They're aliens. Yes, they're more advanced. They have a bigger picture perspective than we do. And they're not being full front. They're not giving us a debrief on everything they're doing. All right, we are the subjects. I get that. We're the subjects. But also, why? Okay, go ahead, hit play, please.
Themselves because they're afraid of what's really going on. It's very obvious what's going on. This is an invasion. It is a takeover. Your children's future is not going to be what you'd imagine for them. They've already started crossbreeding us. So the evolution we made as the human race, our evolution, our natural evolution that took us here over the last 500,000 years of sentience is over. This is as far as our evolution goes, because these motherfuckers from another place, from another dimension, want this world, and they're taking it. And they've been taking it for 60 years. And you know, the easiest way to win a war is when the other side doesn't even know they're at war. They don't even know. And the evidence for this is limitless. I could go into it. Now I'm sure I'll give you examples, but they are breeding us like livestock. They are kidnapping your children and raping them wholesale on an operating table. These things are monsters who think they're doctors. None of this is explored. A lot of people say the abductions, they're exploring. They're examining the human body to see what we're like. They're just doing examinations.
Okay,
Stick
pause
out your
it.
tongue and let me know.
All right. What he's talking about is the hybrid program, which is his part of the hybrid program. His thing happened in the 60s. Okay. Maybe that particular, you know what? He's going on what he knows, and he's saying what he experienced is everything that there is. That is not everything that there is. Chris, it's not everything that there is. What about the people who, why didn't you comment? Notice he did not comment on what Angeli was saying, had said. He didn't, I don't think he would even want to talk to her. I don't think she would want to talk to him because he thinks he knows everything and she has a lot more information. Apparently, so do I. He has some information, but not everything. They're not all monsters. And you know what, Mr. Chris? I reached out and I called one of them Mantis people, and he was actually quite polite. Okay. I don't think this guy was a boss. I don't think the guys you talked to were bosses. I think they were plebs, and you and I both were subject material for a third party to go after and interact with. I don't think you're look at, oh man, he's so intense. And okay, he can't know the whole story. They didn't give him a dossier of stuff to go by, right? They didn't say, here's our plan, here's the 30-page book that we're going to go by. No, he didn't do it. They didn't do that. He is interpreting his perspective. All right, go ahead and hit play.
Knock you up with a hybrid. It is not a doctor's visit. These people are breeding us. And they bring women back again and again. It's horrific what's going on. And that's why. Listen up here. Listen to listeners or watchers, whatever you do with the podcast. Experiencers, podcast experiencers. I lost my point. What was I going to say? No. And that is why all you people clamoring for disclosure from the government, you're never going to get it. They'll give you enough dribs and drabs so you can think for yourself that maybe there's something to this. But they're not going to tell you what's going on. You know why? Because it's not good news. If this was good news back in 1948 or 1953 when Eisenhower met White Sands with the saucer, at any point in time, a president would have told you, got good news for you. Aliens are real and they're here and they're going to share all kinds of knowledge with us, and they're great.
Okay, pause it right there.
They would have told you.
All right, thank you. All right. Eisenhower back then. Okay, now we weren't even on anyone's radar back then. It doesn't seem like, because no one has stories of that. Yes, they've been here, they've been watching us, but our nuclear bombs are what put us on their map. All right. And then that's what made them look at us, I believe. Now, this is gathered from observation. I haven't been given a dossier either. So, well, this guy he's I know he doesn't want to be. He seems like a very upbeat, friendly person, but he's being a doomsayer, and I'm not about that. And the programs, okay, if you go to New York City and get mugged, that's not every New Yorker, okay? Really, if you go to New York City and one guy mugs you, that's not everybody in New York. So you can't just take one. There are so many, and we are the dangerous animals. He's going to get to a point where they say they sedate us and they dial us up and dial us down. And I do agree with that. They did that to me. I don't know how else I would have acted back then when I was having my experience if they hadn't calmed me, kept me calm. Of course, I'm me. I don't freak out about anything. If an alien walked through the door right now, I'm like, hey, coffee's in the kitchen. Go for it. There's a mug next to the coffee maker. I'd say, get some coffee, dude. I don't drink coffee. Well, there's apple juice in there too if you want some, or I just got some cold water. Whatever. I'd be like, you're just somebody, whatever. And I immediately start manifesting stuff because I know also there's a story, and this is from, of all places, it is from Riley Martin. Riley Martin said he was taken. He was part of the hybrid program, and it was in the 60s, also 60s. So he said that he was put and he was made to reproduce with these people, and then he was put on show because, well, he is a showman. He was a performer. He passed away, I believe, in 2012, and he passed away years ago. He was a performer, or he was trying to be, and they loved being performed by him. So we'll go back to Riley in another time. So go ahead and hit play.
Any president, the moment his ratings started
Thank you.
sagging, would have come out and said, hey, yeah, I couldn't get the hostages out of Iran, but good news, our space brothers are here. They've never said they can't. First of all, the last president to be briefed on the subject was Richard Nixon. And that's only because he was Eisenhower's vice president in when Eisenhower took over for 53 to 61. So Nixon was kind of peripherally aware of everything that was happening before the clamps.
Again, he doesn't know this for a fact.
So
how involved Nixon was.
This is a goddamn invasion. And people think, well, it couldn't be an invasion because they would have done it by now. They would have hovered over the White House and the Empire State Building and blown them up.
Wouldn't.
And the Taj Mahal, I think, was one of them. That's what they do. That's what invaders do. They blow up a few cities, and then that gives us time to come up with a computer virus that Jeff Daniels or that Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith will inject into the stupid aliens computer system and get away with it.
We're being invaded by Saturday Night Live comedians.
The people who think if it was an invasion, it would have happened already, suffer from what I call Independence Day thinking. Their understanding of an alien is, what would we do? And that's not how these things work. This is not, I'm willing to bet, but I don't like to speculate, that this is not the first world.
Okay, pause it.
They have a system.
All right, yeah. What he's saying right here is the pop culture things that we know about, movies and TV, Independence Day, that was a big one with Will Smith and not Jeff Daniels. Jeff Daniels. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, Jeff Goldblum, he said, but he said Jeff Aliens by Jeff Daniels. Could you imagine? He's a comedian that was on Saturday Night Live, I believe. I'm not sure. I don't even. That's what it made me think of. I was like, when he said Jeff Daniels, I was like, wait a minute, what? Jeff Daniels? But what now? Part of what he's saying is true, but not in the way he's meaning it. That's not how this stuff works. Correct. It's not how this stuff works because they are not 100% flesh and blood as we understand it. They're, I have to say, the pop culture, extra dimensional. They can be kind of physical here, but they're also kind of physical there. They're more physical there. That's their vibe. They've learned to come over to this vibe. Our extra vibrational to them. We're extra vibrational to them. We're the ghosts until they come over here, and then we're the lions. What I mean is, we're the ones that they're worried about. There's a reason why they make us docile because we can hurt them. Not even physically, mentally, we manifest. That is kind of like our superpower, and they want it. I agree with Keith on that because everyone here has manifested something. And I don't mean the long game manifestation. I mean, man, I really hope I get a parking spot at the gas station. Boom. When you get there, your best parking spot is there for you and nobody else can take it and nobody else is trying. I really hope I find this thing at the store. I think it's been released by now. Boom, you get one, whatever whatever you're thinking about. That's manifestation. And it happens really fast after you get to doing it for a little while, right? But part of what he's saying, part of what he's saying is true, but his perspective is so narrow. By the way, never during this interview does he say he tried to think to them on his own terms. It was always on their terms. And that's what I did. I have thought to them on my terms and it works. Yes, you have to watch your emotions because all of that stuff is transferred because that is their ghost realm and they're tuning in. Just like we have these radios that's not a radio. Just like we have these devices, ghost boxes and whatever, it's listening to things that we can't hear. They have the same thing and we're the ghosts but we haven't learned how to go into that part of it. They have learned to come over to this part of it. So when they come over to here, they're vulnerable. So when they are vulnerable, they want to make sure, just like we deal with tigers and lions, make sure we're docile and calm and not going to eat them, right? Because we're monkey people. And when we see what he's talking about, monsters, we would freak out generally. Most of us would freak out. By the way, still not demons, but this information like this is what makes people think they're demons. Okay. And it's not, it isn't. All right. Hey, Diane, welcome to the show. Part of it's true. Part of it's not. It's all up to perspective. I hate to do the corrupt Jedi thing, but it is how you look at it. Right. And there is a lot going on. And go ahead and hit play.
System in place. And they've been doing it piece by piece. How many millions of people have been abducted? And what else has been done to them besides hybridization? I'm sure they're not all for hybrids. It's why do they do it in the dark of night when your parents are asleep? They come and take your children. Do you think the government, you're asking for full disclosure. First of all, the people asking for full disclosure are battered wives. They are abused, battered wives, clinging to the hope that their abuser will change. Why is it they only will accept disclosure from the very people who have lied to them again and again for their entire lives, treated them like idiots, shut them down, ridiculed them whenever they asked legitimate questions. You can't expect the government to tell you anything legitimate, and they won't. And they haven't yet. And
Okay, pause it right
that's
there.
one reason
please. All right. I agree with him here. You can't expect the government to tell you anything. But what makes the government different than us as far as these programs and getting in touch with aliens, extraterrestrials? What makes them different is they have a militarized and teachable way of manifestation. Stargate program, remote viewing, that is a bit of it. We have Amy and I have a common friend. She was part of the I forget what it was Majestic 12. Okay, it was Project Majestic 12, where we have our own warriors. Okay, we do, and they are badasses. Take all of Star Trek, all of Star Wars, and all of Bruce Lee. That's what she did. Okay, her link is down below. I will have to. I'm having a problem remembering her name right now, but that's okay. And okay, right. From his perspective, being part human, part alien is bad. Hello, Starseed program. That is a program, and you know what? The grays that he's referring to are not part of that program. The Starseed program is even for them, it's out of left field. They did not expect that to happen. They're going to keep doing what they're doing until they come across a Starseed, and then the Starseed will just like tear them up. Okay, even at their own expense, because they're born with the monkey brain. Even though they're Starseeds, they're still hardware equipped, just like I think I am one of them. But it's, I don't know, everyone is different, right? Everyone's program is different. Everything that we interact with these guys is gonna be different. And mine happens to be they don't bother me. They don't win. Now, I was part of the hybrid program. I was sedated, but you will hear some horrific stories from this guy. All he has are horrific stories. Yeah, and Tim is Diane and Tim are both saying things like, according to this guy, yeah, and being part alien is not bad. We just have to realize. I believe a lot of us have realized what we are. So if you want to defend against all these bad guys that he seems to be preaching, learn manifestation, learn self-control. I suggest Buddhism. It helped me. And let's just go on with what he says. Go ahead, hit play, please.
Coming forward, I always thought, you know what, somebody else will break this open. It'll, by the time I'm 30 or by the time I'm 40, it'll all be out there, and it'll all, finally we can organize some, public resistance. Neighborhood watchtowers would go a very long way to deterring such widespread abduction, because these vehicles aren't taking you telepathically. They're not taking you in a Zoom meeting in cyberspace.
Okay.
They land in your backyard and they walk in your door. That's what they do.
So somebody had a question about that. They had a question about that because as well as me, my friend, because I've interviewed a lot of people and they say exactly what you said. They're not telepathically taking you, like you said, right? Where you're going through in the 5D, right? You're saying your experience, like, because he asked, do you physically go with them? They kind of like knock you out, right? But like some people, Chris, they're always saying that they were like astral projected into the thing. Like, sure. They closed their eyes and they were there. Like, what's your thoughts on that? That's interesting.
Mental illness is a terrible thing. In other words, they were dreaming. I have no time for dreaming. I have no time for your connection to Zontar from the 11th dimension, who's telling you all about a new recipe for hummus. It's nonsense, and they're deluding themselves. That's all there is to it. These creatures, they show, first of all, they do kind of come into our reality.
Pause it right there.
Their ships have a difficult.
Okay, they do come into what I say. They are not part of this reality. This guy has met one group, if not one singular. Okay. He has met one group, and they're not all doing the same thing. Okay. If you work at Walmart, not everyone is a cashier. Not everyone is a stalker. Not everyone is a pickup delivery person, right? Not everyone is a door greeter. These are not copy pasted individuals to do one thing. You can't have an organization of any kind of anything without different moving parts and pieces. Everyone has different function. This guy is coming from his reaction of fear. Okay. Now, I am compassionate for that. I am. But that's not the only thing there is. They don't, I don't even know if, now he says anybody, because he just said they're dreaming. I don't got time for dreamers and mental illness. Give me, all right. This guy has had one type of experience. Why doesn't he sharpen his own mental faculties, excuse me? And why doesn't he do that and go after more? What else is there? Okay. If you have I can't compare. There are just so many things, right? I don't know if he was rejected or not, right? And it sounds like he was selected, but they didn't like what he was being done with, or he didn't like what was being done with him because of the selections. And again, I'm not trying to speculate because I didn't have this dude's experience. We're getting to the horrific parts. It's going to get there. And yeah, well, I don't even know if he's trying to capitalize on it, right? Because he doesn't do much with that experience, or maybe he does. I don't know. Personally, I've never seen any of it. The only capacity that I have heard of this guy, Chris O'Leary, is in ufology. He says he's an artist. He says he's written things. I've never seen any of it. I've never read any of it. Didn't even know they existed. The only capacity that I've heard of this guy is in ufology. Okay, hit play, please.
Time interacting with our reality. I've seen them up close, functioning in the middle of the day from 20 feet away. And there are these characteristics. A lot of people don't know this because most sightings are at night, but a craft gives off a kind of clumpy wake in the sky around it. Like you can see where it has floated by. It's very strange. It does something to the air, breaks it into pieces, and it's tinged slightly lavender. The only reason I know this is I've seen a couple of them in the middle of the day, big, beautiful blue skies. But they come here in these metal ships, and these ships are metal or something close enough, and they will either hover over your house, or they have landed in my backyard with smaller ships, and they will march into your house. That's what they do. They come into your house. We've lived 5 different places, 6 or 7 when you count my brother, and the aliens just show up and they walk in your goddamn house. They can walk through a big solid door if they feel like it, or they can float down in through the roof or walk through a picture window. They can do all that. Sometimes they just walk through the door. They open the door and walk in. Here's bullet point number 3 from me today. Do not forget I said this. The aliens have been in more homes in this country than the Property Brothers. They have been in
Must be some TV show. Property Brothers must be.
Yeah. They were like looking at the properties, they're going to the houses.
Yeah, the aliens have been in far more homes than that. I'm surprised when they come in, they don't comment on the decor or the arrangement of, open floor plan. They'll be easy to grab here. So yeah, they come in and they don't drag you kicking and screaming, and they don't knock you unconscious. I'm speaking only from my experience, which is about 100 change.
Only his
abductions.
experience.
And as well as my brother and mother, we agree on a lot. But what they do is when they're close enough to you, and even from a bit of a distance, they can control what you're thinking. They control your mind. Bullet point number 4 or 5.
Not all your mind.
I don't know. I'm sure there's somebody paying attention. There isn't, but it's okay. Let's say 5.
Could you
Bullet
imagine
point
if I
number
did my
5,
camera like
a
this
lot
all
of
the
people
time?
out there,
Oh,
I'd say
man.
almost everybody in the UFO community labors under a very, very dangerous misconception. They think that the great advantage these aliens have over the human race is their technology, is their advanced, granted, it's limitless compared to ours. We don't understand the physics
Not limitless.
or anything else about their ships, their distance, their ability to get here, maybe even travel interdimensionally, which they freaking do. They think that's the great advantage they have over us. That's that amazing ship they've got. Watch any alien movie. Start with Independence Day. They're bumbling idiots. They get punched in the face a lot. But it'd be funny if Will Smith had just slapped the alien. You know, Chris Rock style.
Again, pop culture reference.
Get off my motherfucking planet.
So we got some questions in the chat. A lot of people were
But
really
just to finish
excited.
that up,
Yeah, no, finish it.
They
The
think-
floor is yours.
I digress. A lot of people, most people.
This isn't the only time you'll come on if you're willing. You can come back many times. This is the most genuine. Like, I just feel like you're so genuine and you're fun and you're entertaining to watch. I'm surprised. Like, you should start. Your
And
own
you have
show,
such a
too.
bouncy camera.
I had a
But no,
podcast for several years, but it was comedy, political comedy. But thank you. But my point is, they think
I bet he
the
writes
greatest
for Saturday
advantage
Night
the
Live.
aliens have over us is their advanced technology. And that's a dangerous thought because it's not true. The greatest advantage that the aliens have over nice cup have over, see, they're everywhere, is their ability to control our minds like puppets, to be able to read our thoughts as fast as we think them, and their ability to cover memories of them, to hide them in a part of your brain you can't access until,
Okay,
of
pause
course,
it
they
for me,
come
please.
back. In which
All right. Yes. He is talking about that part of the programs, those programs where they do communicate to us. They do make us do things, make us think things, and hide things from our conscious mind in our subconscious. That's why we do things like hypnotism and regression to get at those memories. And they do have that. But you know what? If you compare, man, we get the best expressions from this dude. Okay. Now, Amy said he's for real. He believes he's for real. I believe his experiences. I don't believe that's going to be every experience ever for everyone because we're all in different parts. If we're involved at all, we're all in different parts of this stuff. Earlier on, he said, "Are we're all being raped?" And I'm like, no, no, no. When we take a sample from a tiger or lion, we're not raping them. We're no, we're not, and we're not hurting them. And that's what they're doing to us. They're not raping and hurting us. And okay. Tim is saying my experiences with them grays, meaning the grays, they are very inexperienced. Yeah, I believe they're clones, right? And perhaps one of the least experienced groups, just a level of technology above us. Yeah, just enough because they're okay. Hello, Matrix reality. They're in the Matrix with us and they have figured out how to get to the next level, or they're from the next level and they're discovering, oh, look, lions, monkey people, lions. That's us. And, yeah. Hey, intergalactic angler. Yeah. Earthlings are easy. Apparently we are. And I have not said this the whole time. Like and subscribe. Aussie Bosses reminded me, don't worry, that's the green light saying 10 minutes. And I'm like, gotcha. Like and subscribe. If you're here, you're quantum. Yeah, we're covering. And Zach Diecast Monsieur. Yeah, I went to the dentist today. Nothing happened. Hence this, right? And yeah, go ahead and hit play with his dramatic self, please.
In case they allow you to remember everything from every incident, because I'm assuming they do that because that way they don't have to answer all the same questions every single time. That, and you're up to speed on what you normally do and what section of the ship you're going to be in today, and let's get moving. That is their power over us, and none of this abduction stuff. And if I was 100, my brother's 150. There's a few hundred. There are millions of abductions in this country, and they wouldn't get away with one of them if the next morning the guy runs to the police.
Nobody believes him.
The state police, anywhere.
Nobody believes us.
Screams at the top of his lungs, what happened?
Scream at a cop, get arrested. Nobody in prison or jail will believe you either.
Pretty soon, you get 1 million people in this country screaming that they were taken by creatures the night before. We would have a defense system in place. We would find some way to kill them. And
we already have some way.
I don't think that's very easy. But what do I know? I'm just, I've just
manifest
a
baseball bat.
Jason
It'll be there for
some
you.
People said they killed him. Jason Sands says he's killed one. Can we kill them? That'd be great if we could kill
we
them.
can't.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you met some nice ones. They don't sound very nice from, I don't know.
Jason Sands
First
took
of
down
all,
a clone.
He's lying out his ass. He never killed a gray. Second of all,
we can interrupt them.
There's another misconception that the aliens are these stilted, robotic, emotionless things. They can be extremely personable, and some of even the tall grays, who are they're all business. When they show up, when they walk towards you across the field with their ship a few feet off the ground, you get this instinct like
program directors,
a chipmunk. Because what you're looking at, he's not like stilking around. Did you ever see that horrible, terrible, unwatchable alien movie Signs? Where there's
I hate that one. That's my most hated alien movie ever.
It's garbage.
I've actually never seen it.
And
I don't think I'm missing
slinking
anything.
through the backyard like this, and girls are screaming at a backyard birthday party. First of all, that would never happen. But that's not how they walk. They walk like Caesar. They're tall and erect, and they look around, and they know they are in control of everything that's going on around them. And they just walk with this confidence. And that is a superior being. That is something much bigger. And it's their mind control abilities. Now, we know they're telepathic. That's pretty much accepted.
Oh, now telepathy is okay?
Raised intelligently. They're telepathic. I've never heard them make a sound. They don't speak, but they speak in a clear voice in your head. The only sound I've ever heard from a gray is the rustling of their fabric as they walk, the footsteps. But their ability to communicate, the fact that they communicate with each other with their minds, indicates to me that they have very powerful minds to be able to do that. And they can communicate in groups and over great distances with each other. They can take instructions when we're,
thanks, Joe,
miles and miles and miles from anything. They're like, oh, they say change of plans. We got to cut this one short. And that is probably what makes them so capable of stepping into our what we supposedly thought were advanced brains and just running the ship. When they look at you, they know everything you did pretty quickly. Like, they look deep into
yes,
you,
we are readable,
and they know what you did as a kid. They know what you did all the way up to where you are right now, and it just takes them a second, like looking at a billboard.
Pause it right here, please. All right, yeah, there's other science and other things that we don't have access to. Okay, when we think of time and reality, we think of it as I can relate it to you. It took 30 whole minutes to get my order. And we understand the passage of time and what happens during that time. What he's talking about is they know everything you did when you were a kid, and because they are interrupting our not exactly interrupting, it's difficult. This is some really 5D stuff, and it's difficult to get across, right? They are not from this time stream, this reality, this vibration, which is that's their foreign element. It's like when we go underwater, we have a hard time going very deep because we're not of that environment. That environment is harmful to us. Our environment is harmful to them, and uh, they have to constantly, but they have to constantly adjust and get it right. But they're really good at it, right? They figured out a really good way to do it. And Tim is saying this man's experiences are heavily influenced by pop culture, aliens, and his perception. I believe so. And I also think that he is using them to try to get us to see his point of view by using pop culture stuff. He uses, wait for it, he uses a lot of pop culture stuff. And yeah, he was saying he was denying telepathy, but now they're telepathic. Uh, uh. And yeah, I'm just like, this guy, he kind of ticked me off. And this is the guy from Spaces who went in there anonymously saying they're trying to take us over by via hybridization. You know, I don't think that's what's happening here, dude. I don't think that's what's happening. Yeah, they need us, but that is a tiny part of everything. Okay, hit play, please.
And this is how they get you out of an abduction. They, first of all, they calm you down and they put you under control. And it's, I would say, sedated. They don't knock you out. They'll sedate you. It's not altogether different than being very drunk. And when you're drunk, whoever you're
This
out
part
drinking
I
with is your
agree
best
with.
friend forever.
You are docile.
And they
You're
make you
sedated.
think that these things are your best friend. And you're like,
Not
they're like,
quite.
come on, let's go. We got to get in the ship. We got.
I disagree with that part.
Going. Well, yeah, let's go, pal. And you walk
don't feel threat.
and you sit down. And
I wouldn't call it
you wonder a
friendship,
little more.
buddy.
They like you to be ambulatory. That's what they do. They just put you under enough so you cooperate, you're calm, you're sedate, and you follow instructions. Then when they start doing procedures on you, if
Humans are really good at following
the
instructions.
purpose of your visit is procedures, then they put you under deeply. And you
Wait, what
I've
other
woken up
purpose could there be than
by
procedures
intense
according
pain.
to him?
That's the only thing that really brings you out of that. So these things, they control your mind, and there's no stopping them. And they make you think that these are your thoughts. And they're not. Their idea of consent, people with the space brotherhood stick up their ass. There's no consent. The consent is they get close enough to you and they make you consent. They change your mind so you consent. See, he consents. We have the right to do it. He agreed. Whatever they want to do, we're the inferior beings. And, listen, we're guilty. There are monkeys in cages with probes in their goddamn brains to find out which crayon is more toxic if you force them to eat it. We are monsters. We go through this thing, good morning, and pictures of rabbits on our backpacks. Rabbits are slaughtered. Animals are any animal is slaughtered, and a lot of them are gone. So this is karma, but it's not pleasant. Were there any questions?
Oh, now
Yes,
he's asking
there
for
are. I
after all
wanted
that.
to note this one because I know you saw the hashtag UFO Twitter documentary, and thank you so much for watching. It means so much to me. Yes, Helen was actually in the documentary. She's a friend of the show. You might have remembered the section with experiencers. Helen had some grays walk into her room as a child, and like you're saying, how you have a physical connection,
comes
which is
here
something that
sometimes.
is so
Hey, Helen.
coveted, and we look for it so much when you're researching this to find people who actually are physically, and they said like they haven't telepathically. So Helen's one of those other people I've talked to that's like, I wasn't in a telepathic weird. I wasn't like closing my eyes and I was on the ship. She was in her, you saw it. You saw the Grays came in. And she was a child. So her question is, why do you think they tend to come into their bedrooms when we're children? This is also something that like Robert Bigelow experienced. Three small people coming around his room. These are also things that I've heard of from other ufologists in ufology. I mean, they used to talk about it, but I don't think it's a big deal if I talk about it anymore. Like, I think it's probably fine. I think they'd be cool with it. But Brent and Blake Cousins from Thirdphase of Moon, they also were visited by an alien gray when they were children. I think you and I talked about this because they're brothers, just like your brother.
I may have been. I
Synchronicity,
don't
we
know.
need to bring that up. But Brent and Blake were also in their house when they were children, and now they run one of the top UFO YouTube channels on YouTube called Thirdphase of Moon. And when you have that confirmation of family, it changes the way. So like they experience that. Why do you think they're coming into bedrooms when people are children?
Well, first of all, the brothers thing is part of the course. If they took your parent, they take all the children. They might weed one out that they really don't need or care for. And then when you have children, they take.
I don't know what part of the course
and
means.
That way, they're always increasing the people they control and the genetics they affect. And pretty soon you reach a point where there's more of them than there are us. And these hybrids, no matter how human they make them look, as they look at this point, Dr. David Jacobs calls them hybrids. They're indistinguishable visually, but they have all the abilities of the aliens, and they're aliens in their mind. They walk around controlling people.
Exist.
But why do they come into their bedrooms to get children? Well, it's very, very logical. What are they going to pull them off the kindergarten bus? Are they going to take them out of school? At what point during a child's day are the parents not, or the school, constantly monitoring where they are and what they're doing? It's only in those hours where the parents are asleep, and the children are too. I mean, unless the children work the night shift. That's why they do that. We've been taken plenty of times in broad daylight, plenty. So people, nothing gets me quite. The reason I'm coming forward is sheerly out of spite. I am so tired of people who write books about how sleep paralysis is the real answer for these people who think
him coming out of spite is what I believe
many times in interacting with aliens. Space paralysis. Yeah, that's what I suffer from. Space paralysis. I'm not an experiencer. They're full of shit and they're grasping at straws. It's just the latest one. People should be smart enough to see through this crap. The people who read that are the ones who are looking for proof that their friend is wrong and there are no spaceships and he was never taken. They'll do anything to prove. People will do anything to prove their friend's wrong. Remember that in life, kids. So that's why they come in the bedrooms. I mean, where are they going to get them? Take them out of the lunchroom, between juice boxes? They got to get you when nobody knows you're gone.
One part of the hybrid program, one part of
their
a bigger program.
Stealing. A person who doesn't want anyone to know what they're doing is never up to anything good, other than perhaps a surprise birthday party. Any other circumstances, they don't know what you want. If they don't want you to know what they're doing, it's because it's very, very, very bad for you. You would try to stop them if you knew. That's why they do this. And, I don't know how far gone it is. I think it's probably too late. And I think that's why we're being run currently by billionaires who are just socking away whatever they can to enjoy it while we have the time. Because
pause it right there, please.
That much time.
Okay, it's too late. Billionaires doing this and that. All right. I've been spending a lot of time in Muggle world lately, and those Muggle people, the ones that he's talking about, he's a Muggle, by the way. I don't think he has a spiritual finger on or nothing, has nothing. He may believe in God. He may go to church. He may whatever, right? But I don't believe this guy has a grasp of reality that he can actually access. It takes practice. It takes belief. Believe, like Keith says, see to believe. No, it's believe to see. I'm with you, Keith. Um, uh, but yeah, all right. Having him on back, yeah. I hope she references this show, picks it apart, references it, and I have had a much different experience than Mr. O'Leary here. Okay, I have sent her my link. She has full Amy, you have full permission to use my stuff whenever you want if you feel it's up to it or what. Feel it's up to par, especially like tonight. Cuz this guy has a piece of the puzzle and you can't take one tiny piece of something and say this is everything. Just like someone compared the moon rover to you can't pick up a rock on the moon and say I've explored the moon or Mars or Earth. You can't do that. He's had one experience, one set of experiences. And Joe is saying everything this guy just said about aliens, that's scary. Yeah, it is a scary thought. If you're in that part, if you're in that part of the program, and us muggles, us non-muggles, excuse me, those guys that he's talking about are all muggles. And oh yeah, I did. I have been talking to her when I pick up my phone. That's what I'm doing. I'm talking to Amy. And right, you can't you can't use a corner piece of the puzzle to finish the spacecraft. That's for sure. Give me a break. He thinks that is all of what there is. Could you imagine if that no. Hit play, thank you. Hit play, please.
So, any other questions? Oh, down there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I like it. And he says, excuse the pun, but it's Sholto. He's a comedian. He gets it. He loves it.
Very down to
and
earth,
everybody's
very
just
mugglish.
digging like how,
Yes.
yeah, like I
Okay.
like this guy seems pretty down to earth. Excuse the pun. This is the stuff that people have been looking for. So much of the time we're like, well, I was thinking, and that's the thing about Helen. Helen here is even saying that, and I didn't know this. She said they broke a window one time when they were leaving, and you know, the physical aspect of this is what makes it interesting when people, right? Because we've got people who have implants. We were talking about Whitley Strieber. Whitley Strieber still has the implant in his ear that he won't take out. Like, what's going on with that? As an experiencer, what do you think? Or as an involuntary employee, I'm just trying to be legit. I know you're cool, Edge, but like, you know, what do you think, Whitley?
I'm not a fan of Whitley Strieber at all, but I recognize he plays an important role. His book Communion, really broke open and the gray, even though, you know, his version of the gray was what he could piece together afterwards through hypnosis.
Definitely like and subscribe. Good Morning UFO.
He's gone
Link in
on to a
description.
lot of cockamamie nonsense rather than pushing home what his actual interactions with aliens, which were limited, by the way. I appreciate him. I do.
Speaking
You
of
know, he's-
limited interactions,
not,
over
he's
yours,
a towering
dude.
figure. So many people walked into a five and dime store or a bus station and saw the paperback on the spinning racks back when people read books and saw that gray face, and it clicked and they got it. That visual image on that cover, even though he later admitted that it was a little wrong, you know, the skull was a little flat, but it's an important thing. So he's a big figure, but I don't take much of what he says seriously at this point. He's like Starseeds and I don't know, half off cannabis. I don't know what he's pushing now, but he makes a lot of money and he has to have something to talk about all the time or his show goes away. And you can only milk your handful of experiences so far. And the main difference between Whitley Strieber and my brother and my mother and my father and myself is that our memories are not the result of somebody sitting sitting us on a couch and hypnotizing us, recovering it that way. That's not us. These are our memories. And we come to them through an incident that happened in 1996 where they botched badly a return in the middle of the day of my brother. And we were having a family picnic in the backyard. And that's when this craft showed up. And it had to be there for a while. And I don't like to speak for my brother, but this is where it all dovetails together. And this is where the hold they had on our family, it was shattered like glass. It was shattered like a pottery ashtray you made in 5th grade that you threw at somebody. It was shattered.
Okay.
Why we are so clear on what happened. It was a very
Shattered.
involved thing, but that's what did it for us. I mean, I go into it in great detail in the book we're writing, but I'm sorry. I don't want to go. I don't want to
don't apologize.
when anybody has any questions. Give me any questions. Any.
No, you know what, Chris, you've been through so much, and like you're finally, we found you. I found you. You were talking. It was like magical spaces, and I rarely go on spaces in the morning, and you were
I
there.
believe
We were
he was traumatized.
and I was just taken aback by the authenticity. And I'm gonna give myself some credit.
And he's
here.
not
I've talked to a
seeing
lot
the
of
good
people.
because
I've
of
been
the
to a
bad.
lot of UFO
and that's
conferences. You saw it, right? And so it just resonated with me. So like for me, this is your time. I hope that we're not done yet, but I was hoping in the future maybe your brother and you would like to come on again for sure, because I know we kind of just packaged this in, but
well,
it's important. It's your time.
Today.
It's your time. You say all you need to.
Yeah, well, he would have been here today, but you only had an hour, and we were going to do the afternoon, but you couldn't, so we're doing it now. And this is too early for him. He has no reason to roll out of bed this early.
Oh, we can still have another show. I mean, we'll just have fun. I'm having
It
fun
will be
too.
his first.
Which is great.
So he has not spoken publicly.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure he is the only career.
No link will be in the description for his book.
Police officer.
Go to Amazon.
With more than 20 years before he retired, commendations, who is willing to go out on the record and say he's been abducted his whole life. He's the only one. And if people don't realize that that's a big thing, everybody puts this status on military officers, no matter what they're doing. They could be office clerks, but I worked in the Pentagon. I'll tell you this, nothing to it. No flying, so they're just drones. Or, it could be real. There's biologics inside. Biologics. Lou Elizondo walking around, supposedly telling the truth and saying, there were biologics. Say
That's part of the psyop.
What is your problem? The bosses won't let you say the word alien because they think it might even wake up some of the most stupid people in this country. If you tell them aliens, won't wake up. Oh, biologics. Biologics sounds like a shampoo. Sounds like a wonderful shampoo from Pantene. Pantene Biologics. Wash the grays right out of your hair. I don't know. So, and there's a couple words you did not hear in any of those congressional hearings. Aliens, abductions. That's two that never ever came up. At one point, they talked about. I
do not doubt his experience, but that is not
an implant.
the
Who gave it to him?
all be all.
Who was it? How did they get an implant in them? They were abducted. And people have this faith on Trump. Trump is going, Trump, he's the one, because he always tells the truth. What planet are these people from? It's maybe the aliens planet, because Trump has never said
again part of the psyop
for a complete sentence in his entire political career. He's incapable of telling the truth. It's absurd that they would think this guy.
I agree, Renee.
Is going to tell
he has a really deep ingrained trauma,
other than his latest grift, selling sneakers with his phony assassination attempt on the side of it.
See, here he talks a little bit. It's political, whatever.
I don't know what his ability is to fool so many people, or what level of education, or just innate intelligence, where people no longer are able to tell who's lying to them. But he's not going to say a goddamn thing because they won't tell him. They didn't trust him with Russian information during his first term because they knew he's working for Putin. So they withheld a lot. So you think they're going to come out and say, hey,
I'm ignoring everything.
I can see him coming out now.
I just don't even care.
I'm sorry, Nathan. I'm running out of time on my end.
Oh, okay. Well, that's enough. Go ahead and you can kill the stream with that guy. We will pick it up at that point later. Maybe we'll see what happens. You got someplace to go.
Yep.
And we are well over an hour, so I need to wrap up the solo. I've been out of coffee, but this guy gets me so going.
Oh yeah. This individual is it's a very interesting individual, a very individual person.
Individual, keyword, individual.
Thank you, Scream Engine. I like that one better. Cantankerous and jaded as hell. I like that. Folks, I'm going to bail because I got some other stuff I got to do like right now. So you guys enjoy the rest of the show, and I'll be in the chat when it comes up for, unless Nathan wants to redo the video in the next part. I'll come back and take care of that. We'll discuss it later. See ya.
See ya. Okay, it is now on me. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this part up. Thank you, Storm. Thank you for helping with the tech issues because my internet is not very good, right? It is break time. I hope you all enjoyed that so far. He didn't get to the part where I wanted to hear. He says, "Oh, I'm not. We'll play it. We'll play it. I'll play it." And he gets really raunchy. Okay, now all that stuff about politics, they're all evil. They're all bad. They all want to control textile manufacturing and all that stuff. Whatever. That's not for this show, right? We're talking about the abduction experience, and I'm going to compare mine with his. Okay, I re-listened to it, and yeah, I get that show was hard to listen to. I'm very halting in my speech at that time. That was 7 months ago, and I need to be asked questions because I'm trying to see. There was a pause right there. I'm trying to get this stuff going out, being fluid, but I'm not practiced. This is off the cuff. So yeah, break time. Aussie sent me the red light a long time ago. Like and subscribe if you're here. Your Quantum. We're going to be back on in 15, 20, 25 minutes, something like that. I'll set it up. But me and Amy are out of coffee for the moment. I got to get some more. Amy getting coffee in spirit. Thanks. Keeping it quantum. Pushing buttons. Yep. There it is. And pushing buttons. Back in a bit, y'all. Thank you so much. Keep it